I've been told my vibe is elevated Mormon.
Hey, Forrest.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Welcome back to the pod.
The pod, Velocitea.
Yes, where we spill the tea on the product marketing secrets they don't want you to know. Who are they?
Who's they? The marketing cabal.
Yes, the less said about them, the better. We're going to try to be a little spicy today because we have opinions.
We do have opinions. I think, we started this being relatively conservative because I would say our default is pretty spicy.
Oh, I don't know if that. I mean, look at me. I've been told my vibe is elevated Mormon.
Okay. I can see it. No offense to anyone. Never gonna be able.
I mean, I feel a little offended. This is more of a reaction than I was anticipating.
That was just such an amazing phrase.
I can't take credit for it.
Well, whoever came up with that was brilliant. Well done.
Yes.
No, I would say I'm pretty jalapeno hot. You're like, what level of spicy?
I mean, I'm the guy who, when he goes and gets Indian food, he asks for, they say on a scale of 1 to 5, and he says a 1. I say
really?
a 1, yeah. And then they bring it in. And when you get a 1, it's like they just have the sauce and they just keep pouring water in it until they feel like it's as white as you are.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
more coconut milk.
I have no call to be talking about spices is all I'm saying.
Really?
But I do have opinions
Okay.
about product marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's interesting because one of the questions we get a lot from people when we talk to them about influencer marketing, because we still do a ton of pitching on just influencer marketing for tech because it's such an unknown for most people. I think a lot of companies think this is something we probably want to be doing, but not exactly sure.
Yeah, they've
how
never
that
seen it
fits.
in action. It's a complete unknown. So they're trying to fill this empty space in their brain, right?
Yes. And so one of the things that they'll ask is, well, why can't I just do this myself?
Usually it's people who haven't tried to do it themselves that ask that.
Because it's such a sweet summer child viewpoint on this.
Yes, and usually our response to that is have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the tartest version of this is actually really, really hard. I say all the time that I've learned so many lessons and the assumptions I made up front about influencer marketing, a lot of them were wrong. They were close, but not exactly. And the problems people run into, one, for larger companies, spinning up multiple vendors is a genuine issue. To creating a scalable system. So you're actually creating a program, not a set of ad hoc sort of influencer buys. 3, collecting that data and measuring it and making sure that there's ROI, how to kind of report on that. What else do you see?
Well, okay, so first off, I think people hear it's so hard to procure influencers. It's so hard to go out and find people and sign people. And I don't want to say arrogant perspective, but it's easy to say, I know the industry, I know my customers, I know who I'm talking to, I can do that. Maybe it'll take a little bit of my time here and there, but that doesn't sound that hard to me. And the thing is, I would say that's not even wrong.
Yeah.
Because you absolutely can go out and spend a bunch of your time trawling social media and continually pitch influencers. You're going to get some. You're going to not get some. You're not going to have a program that's predictable or reliable that way. It's not going to be a program. It's going to be something you're doing as a vanity project off the side of your desk. But that may be what you want, right? In which case, go for it. Give it a try. I think that it would be very sad for you to make that choice, right?
Well, and I think the people that do have influencer programs internally typically work with a handful of folks on a consistent basis.
They do.
So these are their influencers. They sponsor their YouTube content every month. They sponsor their email newsletter every month. And they continuously re-engage. And there is value to that. I do think, especially if you do not have a developer relations team, having a small group of influencer insiders is pretty valuable. I mean, this is why people have community programs.
You need that, yeah. That's not saying you should get rid of that.
No.
But it does not scale.
It doesn't.
And what we see, there's a few large companies who try to run internal influencer programs that are managed internally. And what they almost always end up doing is it ends up being a glorified PR program.
Yes.
Right? And you end up pitching influencers the same way you pitch journalists,
Yes.
the same way you pitch analysts. And needless to say, when you treat influencers like journalists and analysts, they treat you like, you're their PR firm, and so you get content that's not authentic, and you are always. Someone very wise told me once, "What in marketing you pay, in PR you pray."
Yeah.
And because you're always trying to pitch people and see if maybe they'll do something for you, you can never predict it. You can never tie it to a launch. You can never tie it to an event that you have going on. It's
no
just
control.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is why traditional PR is struggling so much.
Yeah,
right. Because it
absolutely.
does not deliver results, and it's simply not cost effective.
Plus, I think part of the reason PR worked for the period that it worked is there were typically large media companies who existed to like report the news, but to tie real stories in. And so those
Yes.
people need information. But those companies, like newspapers, were going to exist regardless of a story or not. TV stations are going to, these things are things that are already in motion, and they have to produce content. Influencers are not like that.
They are not like that, especially in the tech world,
No.
because in the old media world, your PR people and then your journalists on the other side, they all have the same set of facts in their heads.
Yes.
They have the same training, right?
Yeah.
They communicate the same way. That all breaks down when you go to talk to a tech influencer who speaks, about Kubernetes or something,
Yeah.
right? As a PR person, I don't know if what they're saying about Kubernetes is correct or true. I don't know if they're actually influential in the Kubernetes community or if everyone that follows them is a grifter.
Yeah, totally. I also think when you're treating only earned content, I think what you're missing is, again, you're not investing into the community and into content creators. I view this as the same as companies sponsoring open source maintainers.
Yes.
This is a very important sponsorship, and it is a flag for the company to say, hey, we believe in this project, we believe in this creator, we're going to fund this so that this can continue.
That's right. Yeah, product marketer, how dare you?
Yeah.
First of all, how dare you take and take and take
Well,
from
that's
the
just it.
community
Yeah.
and never give anything back?
Exactly.
Right?
And I think a lot of companies make the mistake because it works for a minute, especially if you have exciting news or launches. It makes complete sense that you
Yes.
would pitch some large influencers.
Yes.
But if that is your only move, it becomes extremely disrespectful and it favor tips away from you.
And it's in that short period
Yeah.
that we have people come to us and say, well, I can just do this myself.
Exactly. And
You
that's
get that
when
quick
it's like,
hit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's all downhill from there.
It,
And then folks come back to us. I'm in full-on rant mode now.
I know that is
But-
just we're at a level 2 in the Indian spiciness.
I'm hot under the collar. I would get some hot wings and put them out
There
here
you go.
for this episode.
Oh, we could.
Yeah. But what happens then is the folks come back to us 3 months, 6 months out from that, and they say, how do I find more people like fill in the blank of this one particular influencer that worked well for them?
Right.
Because that one influencer is either not working so well for us now, or we feel like we maxed them out and we got to scale the program. And then what do we say?
Yes. We're happy to build a program for you.
That's right. Happy to build a program.
The truth is you can't just take a list of influencers. And I think that's where people go wrong.
Yes.
And it was my assumption at the start too, that you would have these big names. I use myself as an example. When we started this, I thought, oh, I'm a good influencer. Like this is something I'm like well-known in the tech space. I have a technical specialty. I can create content. I have a bunch of followers. I am not a good influencer from an ROI perspective. If you actually want to drive, because I'm popular because I'm funny, not because I'm creating a bunch of tech content all the time. And so when you have people, what you want is that actual goal, right? So what is it? Is it awareness? Is it engagement on their platform? Is it clicks to your own properties? Like there has to be an actual data-driven outcome. And that's what we build the program around.
Yes.
That's how we select the influencers. It's not just about their audience size or their technical specialty. It's what are they actually going to drive for you?
Yeah, I go back to the quote from Moneyball where Brad Pitt is talking about I forget if it's David Justice or what the player is who they can't afford. Jason Giambi maybe they can't afford to bring him back to Oakland, and he says well we can't find another Jason Giambi, but we can recreate him in the aggregate, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do. So a lot of people come to us and say,
Exactly.
I'll pick on who's one of our favorite influencers that we love working with. Santiago Valderrama is fantastic.
He is.
And people will say, well, where can I find 10 more Santiagos? You can't. There's one Santiago. That's why he's great.
Exactly.
He's amazing, right?
Exactly.
But we can, I don't want Santiago to think that we're saying we're going to recreate him in the aggregate. But,
No.
we can go and build a program for you where we have Santiago and then we have additional results that come from bringing
Yeah.
a bunch of folks together, right? And you start with the results and work backward. You don't start with the names and work forward. That way lies Madness.
Pain. I think also just the scale of it. We have the advantage of scale and the advantage of data because we understand like what it is to actually run these programs. We're able to catch influencers early when they're just getting started, invest in them, advise them, send them, roles when it's or content, sponsorships when it's appropriate, and go from there. So we have our eye on the ball in a way that most companies just cannot be staffed to do.
They cannot be, and they just don't have the data in-house. No. I don't care how big your internal influencer program is, you're never going to have the data on what's happening across the industry.
It's true.
You just have the data on what you're doing.
It's totally true.
There was a massive thump in the background just now.
Yeah, written flagged.
Yes.
She's like, excuse me? I have a note on the noise.
Yeah, no, it's just the ghost of this weird strip mall that we're recording this episode in has made itself known.
Don't reveal the magic for us.
I'm sorry. It looks good, but we are literally next door to an Anytime Fitness. I can count to 10 in Korean. Did I ever tell you that?
No. Go ahead and do it.
Well, okay. Hana, dul, set, net, dasit, yasit, ilgo, yodo, ohop, yol.
That's amazing. All right.
Each
episode should just have a random Forrest fact.
Forrest talent. Well, you shared with me that you can talk like Kermit, so.
I can.
But can you count to 10 in Korean in Kermit?
I cannot.
Oh, dang.
No, see, now my Kermit. Oh, there we go. I needed a minute to like float back into him. Yeah. Okay, so who should be owning influencer marketing internally? If someone is going to run their influencer marketing internally, should it be the comms team, DevRel, social, PR?
And to be clear, I think you should have someone internally whose job it is to make sure that the influencer program is running effectively, because it's about coordinating with a whole bunch of internal teams that as soon as they get a whiff that influencer marketing works,
yes,
they're going to be all over you. Oh, can you get my campaign in?
True.
Can you do this? Can you do that? Right? You've got to have someone who says, you know what? Influencers are a scarce resource.
Yeah.
Here is the most valuable things they need to be used for. You don't want an external firm like Freeman&Forrest making that decision for you. You need to have that aligned with your goals. But that said, I feel like we've typically found that marketing is the best place for this to live because they tend to have the growth budget to make it work. Where inside of marketing do you prefer to see influencers sit?
I like product marketing.
Do you?
I do.
More so than like demand gen?
I do. Yeah. I think product marketing works better. I favor still influencer marketing for awareness. I know that like you can get more specific. It can drive different outcomes. I love that. But I think its like strongest position is really focused on awareness.
Yes.
And that is where product marketing, they just intuitively understand it. They understand that the other kind of methods through which they have been promoting their products are falling away and are becoming less effective. And so they need something new.
Yes. You know, one thing that surprised me getting into this is you look at what marketing is doing, is they'll often put these high-level awareness metrics on an influencer program starting out. And to be fair, we encourage this. It'll be things like this many impressions on the influencer content, this many clicks through to your landing pages, and we'll achieve these big numbers. And then leadership will get all in a kerfuffle, and they will say, well, okay, but is that actually driving demand for us? Yeah. And we'll be like, great, I love that you're asking that question because there was never that kind of scrutiny paid to any of the awareness stuff that marketing was doing before,
it's
right?
True.
And so now you start looking at, okay, we need to actually put instrumentation on our customer journey throughout the website.
Right.
We need to take these UTMs that the influencers are sending us and figure out, are they landing on the landing page? Are they actually clicking through? Oh, we don't have a tool that does that? Well, we'd better get, I can't tell you how many customers we've had that their maturity has advanced by leaps and bounds, right? And then once they can answer those questions, then again, they're like, oh, wait a minute, this influencer traffic actually is really high value.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And now we can actually measure it.
Oh, and see it through the whole journey, which is important. No, you're right. We've had a bunch of clients who were like, oh, wait, we should be tracking this better. Yes. So influencers will make you a better marketing org because you're going to pay a lot of money for them, and it'll force you to get really tight and clean with how you're measuring them. Well, and I think you flag something important there because we'll have folks who think that influencer marketing is a replacement for other types of marketing, and it is not. It works in conjunction with an entire marketing motion, and so that's an important part. And we can advise on that. We obviously have a lot of opinions. I have a ton of opinions about product marketing, and so we do a lot of messaging reviews, helping people kind of understand. But
do you consider influencer marketing to be its own type of marketing, or do you think it's a channel through which all the other types of marketing flow?
I think it's a channel. I
agree.
It's a channel. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. And I think it takes people some time to get to that sometimes.
Exactly.
But they want to know what stage of the funnel influencer marketing hits.
Yeah.
And it hits at a lot of them.
It hits at a lot of them. And it depends on how you utilize it. And where you like what you are actually driving. You know, for like webinar signups, influencers are going to, you know, do a lot more of those.
Totally.
What you would argue would be MQLs.
Totally.
If it is a product launch, like you want to drive awareness. If it's a sign up, like, so you kind of have to think through not just your broader marketing goals, but also your calls to action and where people are actually going to land.
It sounds like you're saying that you feel that building a lot of capacity in-house would not be aligned with your best interests. So what would be?
Building a lot of capacity in-house, even for an influencer.
Yeah, I mean, like hiring a bunch of people to like build deep relationships with influencers and keep sourcing them, right?
Oh, I
In
think
terms of people that you hire.
it's a waste of money.
You wouldn't build your own bespoke influencer marketing agency as part of your marketing team.
No, because it's a freedom of flexibility. So the value of influencer marketing is that influencers can say things that you cannot as a brand. And they reach people that you cannot as a brand. Your job as a brand marketing should be to reinvest in the people who already believe in you. And there's you know, grades of how much they believe in you. Your biggest fans, you're sort of like people that acknowledge your strengths. But I think influencer marketing goes after the two groups that I think is most interesting when it comes to marketing. And that is people who are either neutral or antagonistic toward the brand.
Interesting.
And so that's where you're like, because they're never going to go, say you're on Amazon. If you have people who are already your biggest fans, there are people who are already completely bought into the AWS ecosystem. Those people are not the ones that you want to re-engage through influencers. They're going to
hear about you, right?
They're going to hear about you. They go to your website, they read your news, they follow your advocates. Like, they're already plugged in. The people who are already fans of competitors or don't even think of you or don't believe in the brand or feel like the brand doesn't behave well, these are the people that you can get influencers to actually engage with.
So devil's advocate, if those people are not using AWS, but their company is using a competitor, right, it doesn't make sense to go after them with influencers.
Yes, I do. I think it does. I think there's an argument of, okay, if someone's like, in that example, if someone's already like a complete Microsoft shop, is that as super valuable for Amazon? And from the company level, not as much. But you're not actually targeting the company. You're targeting the individuals who work at the company. And individuals change jobs.
Yes, they do.
And so, you know, I think it is much more important, I think, in tech to target those individuals and carry that brand awareness. Because I tell people all the time, you're almost never going to catch someone at the moment they're going to make a large purchase decision.
You're exactly right.
You have to be the brand or the product they think of when they have to make that decision.
No, totally. A close buddy of mine who was at AWS for a number of years, I remember texting with him a year or two ago, and he was like, dude, have you tried Cloudflare Workers recently? He said, I'm building a side project, and it's all on Cloudflare Workers. It's amazing. And then, you know, fast forward 6 months, he's not at AWS anymore. He's at Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Guess what he's building on there?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it comes for you.
It does. It absolutely does. And, you know, there's campaigns that target the leaders, those decision makers in those roles. And then there's the people who target the developers and who are implementing it. And there's a ton of value of having developer love.
Yes. Right. Your brand has value even to folks who are not currently working with you.
Yep.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. So I would not start its own my own influencer program internally. To your point, I think like some of our most successful clients have a full-time stakeholder to kind of coordinate and to help with us and report on it. But they are not at the center of actually selecting and hiring influencers.
No, totally. I also think there are gradations of, quote, doing it yourself that we hear from people.
Yes.
One of the other most common things that I hear when folks come to us for an initial conversation is they say, well, we tried working with a platform. And there are a couple of them out there. I won't name any names, but they kind of try to be a two-way marketplace.
You don't want to list our competitors.
I don't even really consider them competitors. Is the thing. Like they're really just, they're solving a different problem. I'm not convinced it's the right problem.
Yeah.
But you know, it sounds kind of good on the surface to say I'm going to go to this marketplace product. I'm going to shop for a list of influencers, and I'm going to activate this campaign myself. Why shouldn't I be able to do that? Why doesn't that work, Emily?
Because it doesn't actually get to solving the problems. The problem isn't selecting the specific influencer. So a marketplace, like if you go to one of these and they populate like 5 names you probably already know and already follow and say, these are the best influencers for you. One, they're not really sharing exactly why they think they're the best influencer, which the selection is definitely part of the magic here, and understanding the industry and these people and where they are and their voice. That matters a lot to the success of these campaigns. I think, you know, Martin Casado calls us tastemakers.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Martine.
I know. I like that a lot. And so there is that component of it, but it's also, it doesn't solve, you still have to work with that influencer, contract with them, pay them. All of that is just annoying overhead that we take over. You still have to think through, okay, I don't think those platforms provide information on how the influencer has performed in the past,
right,
how that compares to your work. They certainly don't make up for it. You know, when we have an influencer underperform because we are so data driven and we make guarantees on numbers, when something doesn't perform, we add a new influencer. And so we drive those numbers regardless. Those platforms do not do that.
Yeah, so it's having an actual partner rather than someone saying, here's a little Wild West of influencers, go figure it out.
Exactly.
Right? And that's usually what I hear when folks come to us after that experience. They're like, hey, we felt like it was a list of influencers. We didn't know how they were going to perform.
No.
We weren't sure if they were really the right people for us. They wanted something a little bit more, curated and some actual help alongside.
Definitely. So yeah, it's something to consider, but we find the most successful campaigns actually, conveniently run through FNF.
It's really convenient kind of thing, but you probably shouldn't trust us, honestly. You should go out and try this yourself for a few months and then see how you feel about it. We're always happy to talk to you after you've tried it. You'll have gained an appreciation for how hard this is, and we'll be ready to help.
All right. Thanks, Forrest.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you for joining another episode of Velocity. I'm Emily Freeman with my co-founder, Forrest Brazil. We'd like to thank our producers, Britton Noel and Tyler Freeman, for making this an incredible experience. We love it when you engage with our content, so please do like and share. It really helps. And let us know if you'd like to hear about a specific topic. Thanks so much.